Hey, what's up, guys? Terry back here with you for another, not a review, but a ranking video this time. I am doing my ranking of the Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees films. These are their, this is the order that I like them, that I watch them in. I know everyone's got different ones, how they like it and stuff, and, so I figured I would just do mine. I got the deluxe box set right here. This is my second favorite franchise, with Halloween's always going to be one, but Friday the 13th comes in at number 2 on my favorite franchises. And this is my ranking of the Friday the 13th films. 1. Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. This has always been my top favorite one. When I had this on VHS as a kid, I wore it out. And this has just always been my favorite Jason movie. It was the first one that I watched, and I saw it before I saw the originals or any of the other ones, and it just became my favorite. It's got an awesome soundtrack. Miles Cooper in it too. Great cast. Tom Matthews is awesome as Tommy Jarvis in this, and C.J. Graham's one of my favorite Jasons. So number 1 is Part 6. So it's going to be the top one for me. Next, I go Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This is a good one. Crispin Glover from Back to the Future was really good in this one too. The guy that does the goofy dance, and I thought this one was more on the brutal side too. Like 3 was good, but I kind of felt like this one was more on the brutal side, and I think Tom Savini did some of the effects on this one too. So I go the final chapter. Kind of going backwards here because my next one up for me is Friday the 13th, Part 3, 3D. Another one I wore the VHS about when I was a kid. Another like really top good one that I enjoy. And it's not just because it's the one that has Jason like when he finally gets his hockey mask. I just always liked it because it just had a good feel to it, like that actual Camp Crystal Lake feel. And I really dug that about it. This next one I'll probably catch hell for because a lot of people do not like this movie at all because of how it went. But my next up for me is Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. And I know a lot of people hate this one and they bash on it. I actually happen to like really like it a lot because I love the supernatural element that they had to it, how he was at the beginning of it, then he gets blown up and he's transferring to all these bodies, and I did like really like that effect feeling of it, but I know like a lot of people do not like this movie at all. But I've been lucky enough to talk to Adam Marcus, a director on Facebook. He's a really nice guy, down to earth, and he signed some Jason Goes to Hell stuff for me, and I've always been a fan of Jason Goes to Hell. I still am, and it's just one of them guilty pleasures you got to go to. Kind of going back in line here, next up for me would be Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. This is another one I know like a lot of people like really don't care for because of the whole knockoff Jason thing, but again, like I thought it has some good kills in it. That girl that gets like her eyes plucked out in the woods, she's got the best looking rack too out of all the racks you see throughout the series. She had the best one. So that's another good plus about this movie. And Reggie the Reckless, he's good in this, and another film that doesn't get the love that but it is what it is. This is my next favorite up. Next on the list for me is Friday the 13th, Part 2. Where Jason's kind of got that potato thing for a mask. I did like 2 a lot. The first one was kind of like one of my less favorite Friday the 13th, and it's not because of the whole mom thing. I don't know. The original one's okay. I'll give it that. But like 2, when I first saw the first Friday the 13th and like really didn't, it was okay. I thought, it is what it was, but it wasn't until like Friday the 13th Part 2, like when I was, like, what was this going to be any good? Is it going to be like the first one? But when Jason finally came in on it, it was good. And like it was just one that kind of over the years I liked more because I'd always go to like 6 or the other ones that I liked. Kind of when you get like the Halloween movies and franchises like this, when they got so many good movies, it's really just kind of hard to keep track of like which ones, because you make up like one day you like this, next day I like them in this order, this day I like them in this order. But next up for me is Freddy versus Jason. Yes, this one was really cheesy, but like when it came out in 2003. But I have a lot of memories with this because I actually got to see this at the drive-in that we have in town here. And I saw an afternoon matinee of it. The opening day it came out, and I saw it at the drive-in the same night it came out. I just remember this like being so big when it came out, and seeing this theater hang up in the spring and summer in the theater before the movie was released. So this one kind of like just kind of holds a place in my heart for the good memories and stuff it brings back. But Freddy versus Jason, I've actually got to talk to the screenwriter of this on Facebook too, Mark Swift, a couple times, and he's a really nice, super nice guy. Signed a lot of Freddy versus Jason stuff for me, and I'll be showing you guys some of that stuff too, like in the other videos I do with like some more of my autographed horror collection stuff I like to display and show you guys. But Freddy vs. Jason. Next up for me is the 2009 Friday the 13th reboot with Jared Padalecki. Saw this one in the theaters too, and this is actually the last Friday the 13th we've had until what's ever going on now with this TV series and the new movie and all this that keeps going on. But I really enjoyed this one too. Jared Padalecki fan too. Me and my girlfriend are big Supernatural fans, so it's like every time we watch this, we think of like Sam Winchester fighting Jason, and we both like really enjoyed this one, and this was a good one to see in the theaters too. Show you guys that again. And now we're jumping back to the 80s line. I'm going to go with Friday the 13th, The New Blood. It has some good kills. Big Kane Hodder fan, but I just never really got too big into this movie. I love the like image of it, but the movie was good. It just was never like one of my to-go-to sequels. Jason Takes Manhattan. Another one, it's got some cool stuff in it, some cool scenes, like when the guy gets his head knocked off when he's boxing him. VC Dupree, Julius, that scene's good, and it's just one of my kind of like least, getting towards the end of the bad ones I don't watch, but that's why it's kind of like so low in my place. As we get towards the end, as I was just talking about with Friday the 13th Part 2, Friday the 13th, the original one. I'm not saying it's a horrible one, because it's a classic. It was never like really one of my top to go tos with this franchise, and that's why I just kind of put it second to last. I just don't really go out of my way to watch it at all, and I just like the other sequels more. But I mean, it's still a classic to me. I don't hate it or nothing. Just one of my least favorites, or my least go tos. This is my least favorite one. Out of all the Friday the 13th movies, the one I very much dislike and do not watch the most is Jason X. I remember seeing this one in the theaters too when I was a kid. The same summer that Halloween Resurrection hit theaters too. I was just never... Jason in space, it's like Leprechaun in space, Leprechaun 4. I did not care for that. And then like when they brought Jason into space... Like, when he froze the girl's head and smashed it down and broke it, that was fucking awesome. But, like, for this one, like, this, I don't even know. Like, it just reminds me of, like, a cheap sci-fi Saturday night fucking flick they could have made. But they could have done it without even having Jason. They just could have put, like, a regular fucking, this guy was a killer or such and such, put him in space or something. But they did it with Jason, and it's just one of my ones I absolutely just don't care for. But from starting off, my favorite's Friday the 13th Part 6 to my least favorite, Jason X. That was my ranking of the Friday the 13th films. Like, that's how I have them as like right now, and like the order that I watch them in. I know everyone's are different and everyone's got different opinions, but that's just my review. Not really my review, my ranking. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm kind of I'm still on long work weeks and just getting back to the feel of doing these videos. Sorry about that, but that's my rankings. And as always, I thank you guys so much for taking times out of your schedule to stop and watch my videos. Very much appreciate it. And a lot of you Friday the 13th fans out there, hope you guys come across this and like it. If you like what you see, the horror reviews and unboxing, and I got more concert footage, concert contents coming. I'm getting ready to shoot my own horror movie. It's going to be a really good year for me, and if you guys like this kind of stuff, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to have a lot of good stuff coming. So guys, thank you again for taking time out, and have a good day.